Extreme Rules is this Saturday in Philadelphia, the birthplace of Extreme. And for a show without Roman Reigns and without either of the top titles on the line, in fact, there are hardly any titles on the line. Only the 2 women's championships are being defended. This still looks like it could end up being one of the best shows all year. Last year's Extreme Rules was not very extreme at all. We had one Extreme Rules match with Roman Reigns defending against Finn Balor as the Demon, and that was it. There were no other stipulation matches or weapons matches on the entire show. And I'm fine with not overloading stuff with gimmick matches, but when you have a pay-per-view called Extreme Rules, I think people have certain expectations for the show. And that was very odd to not have any other stipulation matches on the card. That show had one of the worst finishes of the year. It was either that or the exploding barbed wire death match finish with Omega and Moxley. But this is where Balor fell off the top rope and did a faceplant on the mat. The top rope buckled under his massive frame, his massive 175-pound frame, and he got pinned. The Death of the Demon is the title I give that show. You know how those old In Your House shows had subtitles? Cold Day in Hell, Revenge of the Taker, Mind Games. This one will always be The Death of the Demon. And we haven't seen him wear the paint since. He doesn't need it. That was also the show where Alexa Bliss started foaming at the mouth after her loss to Charlotte Flair when she couldn't get her Alka-Seltzer tablet to fully dissolve in time. And they put the camera on her and it looked ridiculous. So we have the go-home episodes left of Raw and SmackDown this week. I expect that they will add one more match. Yeah, probably something with Dexter Lumis and The Miz. Maybe the Usos. I'll do my final predictions on the SmackDown stream on Friday night. If they do add any new stuff. But I want to run through the card as it stands and give my prediction. I got a lot of thoughts on this show. They did what I thought they would do. They have added the Brawling Brutes against Imperium in a 6-man tag, but they are billing it as a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, which is the match that Sheamus and Drew McIntyre had a few months ago where they had shillelaghs all around ringside. They even had a mini bar outside. That was the match that sent McIntyre to Clash at the Castle against Roman Reigns. I assume this will be Tornado Rules, which means this is going to be pure chaos. I like chaos. And it's going to be one of the best things on the entire show, given who's involved. The more of Sheamus and Walter that we can get, the better. This match is going to be coming 24 hours after Walter defends his Intercontinental title against Sheamus on SmackDown. They're billing it the season premiere of SmackDown on Friday. They did a beatdown segment this past Friday. Butch and Ridge Holland were not there. Apparently they were either trapped in Florida or just were not traveling because of the hurricane. So Sheamus was there by himself, and he took on Imperium in the ring. He went after them. He ended up getting beaten down. It was a great segment. Got great heat on Imperium heading into the title match this Friday. Even after that beatdown, though, I'm not expecting a title change on SmackDown. And if Sheamus does lose on Friday, as I think he will, I don't see him losing again on Saturday. Plus, it's his stipulation. He already lost the first Donnybrook to Drew. I don't see him losing this one, so I'm picking the Brawling Brutes for the win. Bianca Belair defends the Raw Women's Championship in a ladder match against Bayley. There is no reason for this to be a ladder match other than they wanted every match on the show to have a stipulation, since last year was the complete opposite. But I also think they wanted it because it is a way for Bianca to lose her title without being pinned. If Damage Control gets involved and Bayley pulls down the belt, it does not hurt Bianca at all. She has largely been protected. She's protected more than most in this company. Bayley has been missing something since she came back. This Damage Control stuff is no good. I just don't think it's working. But if they want to push them as a dominant group, Dakota and Io, they already have the women's tag belts. Bayley should have the Raw women's title and make Bianca chase to get it back. So I am predicting a title change. I think Bayley is going to win the ladder match. Edge made his return at the end of Raw on Monday night. He challenged Finn Balor to an I Quit match. WrestleVotes on Twitter claims there are significant plans lined up for Balor in the future, and that he is a strong favorite of the new regime. Of course he is. Triple H knew exactly how to book Finn Balor in NXT. He was treated well there, even when he went back. And he got a heel run. He had a hell of a run there. Both times. I can't say the same for a lot of his main roster run, but that came under Vince McMahon. He started hot right out of the gate when he first debuted. Remember that? He pinned Roman Reigns. His very first match on Monday Night Raw, he pinned Roman Reigns. He beat Seth Rollins to become the first Universal Champion. But he got hurt in the match, and he had to give the title up the very next night. And ever since he came back, he was never treated at that same level. I don't blame Balor for not being, durable. He took a stupid move that he shouldn't have taken. The buckle bomb is stupid enough when you do it in the ring. Balor took one on the floor into the barricade. That's how he tore up his arm. I think Triple H sees Finn Balor as a valuable asset. They've done a better job of rehabbing the Judgment Day in recent weeks. The issue is you have an I quit stipulation. And WWE does not generally do matches where the top babyface, and Edge is one of the top babyfaces in the company. They generally don't do matches where the top babyface quits or has to give up, unless they pass out. To win this match, one person has to say the words, "I quit." And I cannot envision Edge saying those words unless someone that he loves was being threatened. And I think that's how Balor gets the win here. I am predicting a Finn Balor win, which would be a big one for the Judgment Day. Plus, they're already teasing a future match with Balor and AJ Styles, and I think Balor should be kept as strong as possible. We have not seen Beth Phoenix on TV since that segment a while back where she and Rhea Ripley had to be kept apart. They had to be held apart from each other. If Beth is at the pay-per-view next Saturday and they show her before the match, maybe she's in the front row or something, that's your angle alert. And Beth Phoenix is not a damsel in distress. She could take care of herself. But I think we see one of two things. Either they threaten bodily harm to Beth Phoenix and Edge quits to save his wife, or they do the same finish but with Rey Mysterio. Maybe Dominic is about to do something horrible to his father. He's going to cripple his old man, and Edge has to quit to save his friend. Liv Morgan defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. I'm surprised Liv has lasted this long as she has. I didn't think she would make it this far. They have been trying to give her an edge in recent weeks. The big table bump onto Lacey Evans 2 weeks ago. Then on Friday, she came out after Ronda with a baseball bat. She was just relentlessly going after her. Even after Ronda went to walk away, she was like a little bulldog, jumping on her. I think the time has come for a title change, but you call it a feeling or a hunch, I just don't think it's happening next weekend. I think the Raw women's title match, yes, but not in the SmackDown women's title match. And I think the reason is because we are going to see the return of Charlotte Flair at Extreme Rules. The last time we saw Charlotte, she lost that championship to Ronda at WrestleMania Backlash. And Ronda broke her arm. They wrote her off with a storyline broken arm. Now, Charlotte is coming back to get her revenge and cost Ronda what should be a sure thing. And the Extreme Rules stipulation lends itself well to her doing that. She can interfere. Again, there's no disqualifications. Liv Morgan finds yet another way to win against Ronda Rousey, and she lives on for at least a little bit longer with the SmackDown Women's title. Drew McIntyre goes one-on-one with Karrion Kross. This is going to be a strap match where the only way to win is by pinfall or submission. This is going to be the biggest test of Karrion Kross's career. For all the places that he has been, he spent a lot of time in Impact, in Lucha Underground, in MLW, and he was supposed to control his narrative, although I don't know if he ever actually wrestled for them. All the different places that he has been, including NXT. This is the biggest test of his career because this is the biggest match that he has ever had on Raw or SmackDown. It is a pay-per-view match. This could be the main event. I don't think this is going to close the show. It could, though. It's either this or the Fight Pit. So he's in one of the feature top matches on this card. There is no Roman Reigns. McIntyre and Kross are two of the biggest names on this card. He needs to go in there and have the match of his life. He's got to go in there and hang and show that he belongs. And that he is the number 2 heel on SmackDown, which is what they have him slotted in as. And I think a win here is more important for him than it is for Drew McIntyre. I know McIntyre's coming off a loss at Clash at the Castle. They lugered him. That's why I call him Drew McInluger. So Drew needs a big win too, but he doesn't need it as much as Karrion Kross. It's more important to give the win to Kross. So I think Karrion Kross should win. I think he is going to win. I'm picking him to win the strap match. And then we have what I assume will end up being the main event, so they can set the cage up. Seth Rollins takes on Matt Riddle in what will be only the third ever Fight Pit match, the first on the main roster. Knockout or submission, those are the only ways to win. They did not get Ken Shamrock to be the special guest referee, but they did get former UFC heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier. The same Daniel Cormier who was in the crowd at WrestleMania 31 and marked the fuck out when Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank and won the WWE Championship. I don't know if this man can be impartial. Cormier gave a statement to Ariel Helwani. He said, "The Rollins-Riddle feud has gotten very intense and personal. There's only one person qualified enough to oversee this brutal match at Extreme Rules, and it's me. I'll see you guys in Philly next Saturday." Riddle was in the very first Fight Pit match against Timothy Thatcher in NXT, and he lost. He also lost to Seth Rollins at Clash at the Castle. That changes here. I'm picking Matt Riddle to win the Fight Pit. He needs this. This guy has been getting his ass kicked ever since he and Randy Orton lost the tag team titles to the Usos, and he lost his partner. He wrestled Roman Reigns on television for the championship, right? He lost. He lost his partner. He lost to Rollins, who punked him out about his wife and kids leaving him. Riddle is the one with the fight background, and now they've got Cormier as the referee. I don't think they want Cormier raising the heel's hand at the end of this. Right? That's the reason why they had Jesse Ventura hold up Mankind's arm, and they gave the win to Mankind at SummerSlam back in '99. They didn't want Jesse Ventura, the governor, going in there and having to raise the arm of the heel. So they put over Mankind, and they had Triple H win the belt on Raw the next night. I think Matt Riddle is going over here. The big question is, do we get the White Rabbit reveal on this show? Does Bray Wyatt show up? And if so, at what point in the show does it happen? Does it happen during one of the matches? Does it happen after the main event? Do we not get Bray Wyatt? Is it not Bray Wyatt at all? I think at this point it's pretty safe to say that it is, but maybe we get a really big clue and they're going to drag this out even longer, which I think would be a mistake. I think they've been enjoying the clues, but I think if they drag this out beyond Extreme Rules, people are going to start to get very tired of this. Everything seems to be pointing to this show. Per Fightful, WWE Creative has been largely hands-off with all the QR code segments and all the clues. They said not everybody was sold on the QR concept of the teases, but they spoke with people backstage who said that it has been a major success. It has created even more buzz than they originally intended. WWE Creative has been largely hands-off with the segments. Those in the know claim that Extreme Rules was supposed to be the reveal of the White Rabbit. They were not told if the person portraying it would actually be there physically. So that is the update as far as Extreme Rules and the White Rabbit stuff. Now keep in mind, SmackDown, I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but SmackDown last week did its biggest numbers in almost 2 years. They did 2.5 million viewers. That was the highest viewer total since Christmas Day in 2020. And the only reason they did a number like that on Christmas Day in 2020 is because it came right after an NFL game. So they had a huge lead-in. They weren't doing 2.5 million viewers on, or whatever they did, on Christmas Day in 2020, if not for the NFL leading into it. But on that show 2 weeks ago, it was the 9 p.m. quarter hour where the show just exploded. They did 2.7 million viewers. That was the most viewers for any WWE segment in more than a year. And then at 9:25 p.m., there was a very noticeable drop. And so it makes sense because they were teasing something with the numbers 923, right? They were teasing it as a date, then they were teasing it as a time, and everybody thought, oh, at 9:23 p.m. on SmackDown on Friday, this was last week, there's going to be either a new clue or the White Rabbit is going to reveal themselves. Now, I didn't expect there to be a reveal, but evidently it worked. And when people realized there was no White Rabbit and there was no new tease at 9:23, I mean, the tease came online, it didn't happen on the show, they turned the show off. White Rabbit merchandise, they're selling merch on WWE Shop. They have t-shirts up there. Apparently they're selling like hotcakes. Now on Raw Monday night, there was a new QR code. And if you go to the code, it takes you to a TikTok account called Come With Me. And a video of wrestlers from WWE in the past and from ECW with promos and just different clips edited together to form the sentences, "Who killed the world? You did. Feed your head." Of course, this all ties back to the lyrics of the Jefferson Airplane song. Featuring ECW wrestlers, though, that is no coincidence, given that we are heading into a show called Extreme Rules in Philadelphia next weekend. That is not a coincidence. At the end of the video, they flash the number 40701. 40701 is the zip code for Corbin, Kentucky. In Corbin, Kentucky is a vinyl record shop called White Rabbit Skate Shop. And there is also a White Rabbit Records YouTube channel that was established in 2006. In 2007, they posted the music video for White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. On Monday night, that account posted their first video in 15 years, which was just a 3-second clip showing the number 04062, which happens to be the zip code for Windham, Maine. I see Wyndham Rotunda has been making the most of his free time ever since he got his release. From SmackDown on Friday, there was another QR code that flashed on the screen which linked to a 15-second video of the Three Little Pigs from the Disney cartoon. One of them was playing a flute, another one was playing a violin, there was the Big Bad Wolf. So this is another character represented from the Firefly Funhouse, right? First Ramblin' Rabbit, we're talking about rabbits every week. Now we have Huskus the Pig. Later in the show, when Michael Cole and Corey Graves were shown at the announce desk, some guy walked up behind them in the front row. They never acknowledged them, or him. But the guy held up a sign that read, "Revel in what you are." And it took not even 2 minutes for people online to find an old tweet from 3 years ago where Bray Wyatt tweeted at Rob Schamberger. He's WWE's resident... does he paint or draw? I think he paints. He does paintings for them. But he had done some kind of painting of The Fiend, and Bray, quote tweeted him. And in his tweet, when he was kind of giving him a shout out, he said the words, "Revel in what you are." So it's very clear. This is all leading back to one person. Now, could there be more than one person involved? Maybe they swerve us and it's not just Bray, it's Bray and somebody else. But it's obviously building to the return of Bray Wyatt. I would think if it happens at the pay-per-view, he should show up during or after the strap match or the fight pit. And if he's there, I would think you want to end the show with it. So whatever that main event is going to be, that's where I think we're going to get this big reveal, if there is a big reveal. Extreme Rules is where it happens.